So we're going to import some records so we have some data to work with. And this is a pretty common scenario. Often you have your data in another FileMaker database. You've gotten a text file from somebody, or maybe you have an Excel spreadsheet. You want to get that data into your FileMaker database. So we're going to go over how to import records now because we want to have data that you can work with in your database. We don't want to type in 40 or 50 records. That wouldn't be a good use of your time. So we're going to show you how to import records now so we have some data to work with. So what you'll find is the first thing you want to do is decide which layout you're on. And the reason that's important is because it determines which table you're importing into. So I usually start off on layout that's representing the table I want to import into. Now it's really easy in this situation because we only have one table. So you could import into any layout that we had, and actually we only have one layout. So everything's really, really easy here. But remember that where you're importing, where you're starting from, what layout you're on, the context is very important. So I want to plant that seed right away, and we'll cover that more and more as we go along, that word context and perspective, what that means. So we're good right now. We just go up to the File menu, and we choose Import Records. And there's lots of choices off of here. We're not going to go over every single one because some of them are very complex, such as ODBC data source. And this would allow you to go into any other system, mainframe or any other type of product that supported ODBC, and import directly from it and actually bring the data in there. It's not a link, it's going to actually bring the data in there. A similar type of thing is XML. It allows you to connect up to some other source that supports XML and import that data. And really, same thing as Bento, except it's specific to Bento 2, which is available on the Macintosh under the Leopard operating system. So Bento is this type of program that organizes your contacts and your calendars, and a lot of times people want to go and take their data from there and pull it into a FileMaker database. So that's very handy too. So these are all sources, general, and very specific to an application. But we're really not going to go over these because they're unimportant for learning FileMaker at this point, or at least they're beyond the scope of what we're going to teach here. However, we will go over Digital Camera, which is available on the Macintosh operating system, and you can import directly from your camera into FileMaker. Now you can also do that same thing by importing from folder once you've moved your pictures from your camera onto your hard drive. And you can also do text files and stuff like that. But by far the most common way to import will be from a single file, rather than an entire folder of files, whether they be pictures or text files. So we're going to show you how to start off by importing a file. So just choose that one. And it's going to ask you to locate the file you want. Now, what you're going to want to do is find the names file from the works file, names.fp7. That's the one we're going to import from, and it has 40 or so records in it that we can import so we don't have to type all this stuff in. So let's start off before we actually click open and choose that. Let's talk about the file types. Now the first thing you're going to notice is quite a few are missing. In FileMaker Pro 10 and FileMaker Pro 10 Advanced, a lot of formats that were not used have been removed. They just weren't used. I mean, they're very, very old formats. Silk, WKS, Basic, DBase, all those things were removed because the modern developer just doesn't use these old formats anymore. What you have are Excel workbooks, or .xlsx, or Excel 2007-2008, can go by any of those names. Then you have the older Excel formats, merge files, which are traditionally used with word processors to make merge documents, comma separated text files, which are text files that have a comma between each field and a return between each record. So when FileMaker imports those, it goes, oh, a comma, okay, that'll go to the next field. So you can have all this data crammed into one file, and FileMaker will know how to import it. Same with tab separated, except it has a tab between each field and a return between each record. And then, of course, FileMaker profiles. And that's the type we're going to use here because we have a FileMaker profile. Now, I could have left it on all available, and FileMaker is pretty good about figuring out what file type it is.